express this. Like next day shipping, my best days pending. Every day I'm inching in my own mess. Future looking grotesque, everything's a so miss. In other words, I'm feeling hopeless. Heard a beat, thinking how would I approach it?
Yo, welcome. Truth be told, what's up, y'all? Hope y'all doing good today. Just waiting for more people to tap in. What's up, Defy Life? What's up, Kayla? Wifey tuned in. What's up, Wifey? What's up, Asa? Yo, we gonna have a good time tonight, man. Truth be told, the second show. We got Rush Anthony, Anthony Rush Jr. That's his ad name on Instagram. But we got Anthony Rush Jr. coming on tonight. Man, we about to have a good time. But yo, this is my intro theme song. Truth be told, I need y'all to hear this, man. Just vibe with me till we come in.
If only I could feel my soul. If only it didn't feel so cold. Holding on to things that I won't let go. Running the same old race, stuck in that same old place. But I know, truth be told, my soul as a whole is so cold. Yeah, truth be told, truth be told, truth be told, truth be told.
Truth be told, my soul as a whole is so cold, like the coldest winter. And the burning no feathers, like I lost the fire, like some in leather. I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say. But we get some text, and all I do is fail. Searching for the right fit, need to go see a tailor, cause every day I try, I'll come with a little bit extra. And that's why I cooking.
Yo, what's going on?
What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man?
Chilling.
How's everything?
Everything's good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Doing
Sure.
well. How's the weather out there, man?
It's hot out here. It's like 90 out here.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's mad hot.
All right, so I gotta introduce you right, cause I know you from outside the Chicago area, and
Yes,
you've
sir.
been watching all this Last Dance and all that type of stuff. So for those of y'all that don't know Anthony Rush, he's from Illinois. So we got, we introduce him right, with some Golden Last Dance theme music, you feel me?
Okay, yeah, I feel it.
In case y'all ain't know about that,
Yeah.
introducing Anthony Rush Jr., my dog. What's going on? What's
going on, man?
Yeah. I had all the claps and all that.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
Not much, just chilling, man. Here with my son. He in the back somewhere. See him.
Wow.
He back here chilling.
He's in
Yeah.
the back.
Yeah, he in the back chilling.
Man, speaking of that, man, I know for those who may not follow you or even the ones that do follow you, I'm pretty sure, people may not know that you have another child on the way.
Yes, June 12th, right around the corner, man.
Right around the corner. Yeah, man.
Right around. Yeah.
That's a blessing, such a blessing. So, man, I'm going to get right into it, man. So, for those of you that don't know, again, I got Anthony Rush on here with me, man. And he's from Peoria, Illinois. And I kind of know about Peoria because I used to live in Moline.
Oh, yeah.
Not too far, man. My family, man, we done moved everywhere, so I know
Yeah.
places around the country. You from Peoria, Illinois. You're happily married to your wife, Sopa. I said it right?
Yeah, you said it right. You about the only person that said it right on first try. Yeah.
Really? And I got to give credit because my wife, we both been following y'all. She made sure that I was going to get on here and say it correctly and not butcher it, right? Yeah, man. So you made your wife, Sopa Rush, and it's been how many years?
Man, we about to go on 4 in June.
4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's crazy.
Yes,
So,
sir.
happily married. You have one child right now, another child on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Just to talk a little bit about you before we get into it.
For sure.
Just some of the things that we were able to discuss. You're an entrepreneur.
Man,
I want to get that out the way because that's one of the things that you're really doing and creating on your own. being a person that's self-employed, and that's so important. I believe God, pretty much gave you, this name, and it's called Created for More.
Yeah.
Something that you didn't start, and we're gonna get into that a little bit later.
For sure.
He's a businessman, entrepreneur, has his own brand called Created for More. He's also coached at the college level. You coached at Dallas Christian College, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, 3 years, and then played basketball at Lincoln Christian University.
Yep.
So, man, I want to jump in right there because
For sure.
I didn't even. I grew up in the church. My parents are pastors and all that type of stuff, but I didn't think to go to a Christian university, a Christian college, and all of those things. Basically, because I was like, man, I don't know if they have the same exposure. I'd be able to, get to the league and stuff like that at that time. And I mean, my parents are faith-filled, filled with the Holy Ghost type preachers.
Yeah. For sure.
And I'm saying, they've been pastors forever. My sisters actually have all attended. They have all gone to Christian universities. I have one who's a singer. She hasn't gone yet, but she's most likely going to one. Just tell me a little bit about your experience being at a Christian college, because I just had a conversation with my sister the other night, and her friend was there, and they was telling me stuff that I'm like, yo, that happened at a Christian college, like, yo, you might as well have went to a private public university.
Yeah,
all that matter.
Yeah, for sure. My experience, it was cool. Like, that was definitely not my first choice at all. I was trying to go HBCU. I was trying to go to Alabama A&M with my homies, but God pulled on my heart, and that's a whole nother subject or story. But yeah, it's just like any other school, man. To be honest, you have your ups, you have your downs with the school, and you have your wild people, and you have your people that are there for the right reasons. So it's like you got to find your balance and get in where you fit in. But for me, it was a great experience. Probably definitely one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, especially on an educational level, because I feel like if I would have went to an HBCU, I would have had the most fun, but I definitely would have failed. I would have flunked out for sure. They definitely held me accountable at my university. And since it was like a private, little smaller school, I got more one-on-one time with my professors, and, I really got to know them as people. As far as if I would have went to another university, I'm just another number in the classroom. So it was an overall great experience. I love playing ball. They took care of me like we was real D1, and it was a blast, man.
Now, did you grow up in the church?
Yeah.
Like, tell me about your background and knowing Christ.
Yeah, for sure. So I've known Christ all my life. My grandmother is my pastor, my dad's mom. All my family, we've all been raised in church. We've all known God our whole lives. I have a younger brother and sister with my stepmom and my dad. They're 15 and 13, so they're way younger than me. But, God has always been a foundation in our lives and in my family's lives. Now, did I always follow? No. But I've always known, because my grandmother's always beat it into me, and my dad. And I was blessed to see, both mom and dad in the home, too. So everybody in my family strong believers, and they've always been.
Wow. When did you reach that point where you felt like, man, God was pulling on your heart for you to submit totally to Him? Because the thing is about this show and what the purpose is to tell people that, I mean, we're not perfect people, but God pulls on all of us at some point in life. We either let Him in and open up our hearts, or we kind of push Him away. And sometimes, it hurts us in the long run when we lock Him out. But there's people out there that they're wise beyond their years sometimes to just allow Them to come in, and it saves them from a lot of heartache and pain. So when did you submit to God? What time of your life? Where were you at? How did that happen, man?
Bro, I was about to be my junior year in college in my dorm room. I'll never forget this. I had just got out of a 3-year relationship. The relationship was in the world. I was all over the place. but I just got overwhelmed and fed up with the way I was living. And it was like a weekend, and I just was in there by myself. My roommate wasn't in there, and I just felt God was like, it's time. And I just told him, you know what, I can't live like this anymore. I broke off that relationship, and I said, Lord, if I'm gonna be here, because I had already been there 2 years, and I was still doing what I was doing, messing around, trying to live a double life. And I was like, I'm tired of this. I was going in circles, and I feel like I hit rock bottom emotionally and spiritually. I was just drained, and I was like, God, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to take full responsibility and really get something out of this place and what it is you have for me here. So I told him on that Friday, I believe, I was like, Lord, I'm yours totally. I was 22 years old, about to be in my junior year in college. I said yes to the call.
Man, and that's just, for anybody that's out there that's watching, man, y'all put a thumbs up if y'all can relate or whatnot, because, man, you were playing college ball at the time, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, even though you at a Christian college, and from all the stuff that I've been able to hear just the last couple days with my sister, there's so many things that people may not know that you experience in a Christian college that is not much different than being in a regular university. You still have to, go through the same temptations. You still have to, try to maneuver your way through life and really trust God. And you said something really important. You said you got tired. You got sick and tired pretty much of how you was living.
Yeah.
And, I have the same, type of testimony, but I would say that you caught on early, and it doesn't matter if you grew up in the church, because I think,
at all.
You can hear the word all your life. Like I said, I was a pastor's kid, and I heard the word all my life. But when you get on your own and you have to walk on your own 2 feet, your parents are not there, to protect you. It's not like you're going right back to your home where it's a safe haven.
Right.
You have temptation lurking every single day. You have to make a choice. And for you to make that step, I'm pretty sure the trajectory of your life, went up, in ways where you may not have saw right in the beginning. But that brings me into the next question, because you're only 20. How old are you again?
28. I'll be 29 in September. So
29. So I'll be 29 next week, next Sunday.
Okay. Yeah.
So you've been married for 4 years, and so that was 25 years old when you got married, right?
Well, 26. Well, no, I was 25. Yep, 25.
So then you graduated college when you were 24.
24. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So my next question would be, when did you, because you got out of the relationship, so when did you meet your wife, Sopa?
I knew
How did
Sopa.
that happen?
Yeah. So I knew Sopa way back in like 2011, 2010, when I was looking at the school for basketball. So I was at a junior college, like my first 2 years out of school or out of high school. It was in my hometown. I'm surrounded by my same people, same friends. So I'm literally there just dropping classes, jacking around, doing all kind of crazy stuff because I was going for free. My stepmom, she taught at the school. So I'm just there taking classes for free. I didn't even get an associate's. That's another story. But I was there for 2 years, didn't get an associate's. I'm dropping classes. I'm just wilding out because I'm around the same crowd of people, my high school friends, and I'm just not taking it seriously. You know what I'm saying? So they always had college fairs where schools would come and they'd pop up. And Lincoln Christian was always there. But no one ever went to the table at all. Like, nobody went to their table. And it's crazy. I just felt God tell me, like, stop at this table. Go talk to this man. So I went and talked to the guy. I forgot his name. He's a cool guy, but he was more worried about me as a person than, trying to recruit people to go to the school or trying to get numbers. You know what I'm saying? And that drew me in. So I'm like, you know what? I'll check them out because they probably got a basketball program and I could probably get on and go crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's a small Christian school, so let me see what they're talking about. Right. So I got the coach's number. We exchanged info. He was the same exact way as the man I talked to before. Coach Hold'em, he didn't ask me, like, what did you average in high school or anything like that. He asked me, you know, what kind of man do you want to be? Like, he was on some real life stuff. And I was like, wow, this man really cares about me. He don't even know me. So I started going to the school to go to games and stuff like that. And Sopa was already at the school.
Oh,
so
wow.
we met that way, yeah. And it wasn't like, it wasn't even nothing. We just like, hey, hi. She was super friendly, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? She was giddy. Sopa knows no strangers, bro.
But did that grab your attention? Or that was just like some...
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it did.
It did, because she was tall, she's big, and she had... Back then, she probably gonna kill me for saying this. She had blue contacts in.
Right.
Yeah, so I was like, dang, this black girl got blue eyes? So that drew me in, too.
Wow. Snap.
She like 6 foot with blue eyes. So I'm like, okay, cool. We just met, and it was just cool then. Then we kept talking throughout the summer. I kept seeing her when I would go for open gyms and games like that, and she played as well. So I got to see her play. Yeah, she played volleyball and basketball.
Wow, that's a fun fact.
Both. Yeah, for sure.
Does her followers know that? Do they know that?
I don't know.
Have you even shared that?
I don't know if she ever shared that. I think she has before.
She might have to put a throwback. I know she's real synchronized and real particular how she posts, but that would be a crazy throwback pic.
It would.
Just get a picture of that.
I'm gonna tell her I know she has all the pictures, so I'm gonna tell her to throw one up. But yeah, she was playing, so you know we met and we didn't really get cool until like I got to the school. So like 2012, we rode with the same crowd of people. She was just always a good friend, and you know was always trying to me to be a better person, off record. So we was cool. We hung out, but you know, even before we even started talking and all of that, after I got in my relationship, I told God I'm not getting into another relationship until this next person is going to be my wife. Because I'm not going to keep going in these circles, you know, trying to do it on my own. Because the last relationship, I was trying to do everything, living this double life, and it just was not working out. My flesh, my spirit was at war the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So, me and Sopa didn't date or talk or anything like that for like 1.5 years until after. And then we got together, and the rest is history, bro.
Wow, so how long did y'all date for?
Man, we dated for a year?
Mm-hmm.
1.5 years or something like that.
Right.
And then I proposed. I was like, you know, it's time. Like, I know I want to spend the rest of my life with her. Yeah, I ain't going to play no games.
So, I mean, so you just felt a comfort. And especially, so during that time, did you really, because that was the beginning, well, when you first, you know, surrendered to God, that was the beginning of your journey, really trying to walk with Him. So were things easy? Well, when I say easy, how were things on that process after you broke up with your ex? You started turning your life around to just, you know, get closer to Him, and then you found her. How was that process and the journey up to that point? Did you have like problems or struggles, anything that you may want to share? You know, for those out there that may not know, even when you do surrender to God, it's not like it's all peaches and cream. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, not at all. I think it got harder, actually. You know, when you in sin, the devil has nothing to worry about because you already with him. So it's like when you start to fight back, then you get that opposition. You know what I'm saying? Those temptations come even harder. So I feel like for me, I'm such a laid-back person. It's a blessing and a curse. Consistency is a big struggle for me. You know, like getting into my word all the time was a struggle. I'm at a Bible school, but for me, that was like, I'm in the Bible all day. I ain't trying to read on my own. I'm trying to go to the gym. I'm trying to get these shots up, or, you know, I'm trying to go kick it with my friends. But, you know, God is so good. He gave me a roommate and brothers around me that were serious. Like, they were dead serious about their faith. And that was one thing that, you know, I could come to them with a struggle. And they were like, dang, I'm struggling the same way. Let's go pray. It wasn't a dang, I'm struggling. Let's wallow in it together. It was a let's do something about it. And then I had professors and coaches who cared and, you know what I'm saying, really wanted to see me succeed outside of basketball, that they were willing to do anything to help me, you know, stay on the right path. And I had a family as well who, you know what I'm saying, I can talk to. I can talk to my dad about anything like he's one of my friends, and it's not going to be a lecture. It's not going to be a judgment. It's going to be like, you know, you're a grown man now. I'm going to give you the keys that I was given, and you do what you want with them. So, yeah, I had consistency was a struggle, lust was a struggle. Just trying to stay on that right path, man, because Sopa's such a pure spirit and person. She was a virgin. You know,
Wow.
she had never done anything. I was of the world, so I definitely had done stuff. So
Wow.
it could have been, it was so many times that I feel like I could have took it that way. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to, but he said, you know, you never know. The choices you make now, you don't know how those choices are going to affect her present and her future. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sleep with this girl now, you don't know what that's going to do to her spiritual life now and forevermore, and just her life in general. So it made me understand that, you know, I'm not living for myself anymore. You know, I'm living for what God has for me and what he wants. So I can't be of the world and try to do his will at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. And Sopa wasn't going to compromise anyway. That was one thing she told me, like, yo, my faith is above all. Like, if you can't get with that, then you got to get to stepping. So that was another challenge for me. Like, you know, if you're really going to do this and you really love her and respect her, you're going to do it her way.
Yo, for the fellas out there, for the sisters out there, you said something that just really stuck with me, and it doesn't matter where you are. You have to find, though, if you're not in the area or in a place where there's other people that you already know that's around you that are in the word that's going to hold you accountable, you have to go seek it. I mean, the Bible talks about seeking you shall find. And seek ye first the kingdom of God. If those are the things that you want, then God will bring those things to you. And you being at a Christian school and finding those people to come around with you, and you guys talk about your struggles, talk about your problems, that had to be something that catapulted you and gave you extra faith to know I can get through it because there's other people like that that's around me that's being real. And the mistake that we make, I mean, because I'm a pro athlete, I play pro basketball and all that type of stuff. And you may not find a lot of people that are living that way. So guess what? It's okay. If you can't find people in your career field that you're doing it, find people that are different than you. They might not be in your same profession. But there's so many people around, like, and I'll just go back to the college part because I know when I was in college, and this is not about me, but I'm just adding this part in. When I was in college, it was different. I didn't go seek those people because I was just like you. So just a little bit about me, so people can see the difference in and how your life can be when you surrender to God and when you don't. Me, when I was in college, I already knew certain things, and I was just like, man, I didn't trust God fully because there was certain things that I went through that I just felt like that He let me down because I was doing the right things, and then that's when I fell into, you know, the trap of the enemy and just falling into sin and things like that. And you got sick and tired of it at one point and just felt like, you know what, I have to turn it around because things aren't going well for me. And someone like me, I didn't turn it around right away. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that I still have to make up lost time for from what I didn't get correct in the first place. So it's not to say that I'm not blessed, not to say that God hasn't taken me great places, but we could be further along in our spiritual walk. And even with the crowd, the audience, the platform that you have, sometimes God, and I'm talking about you and I, sometimes God can withhold an audience from you because He knows He doesn't want you to shame Him. He wants to know that, okay, everybody sins, but one person may have a lot of dirt or a lot of things that they've done that God, in a way, wants to clean up a little bit, because what happens a lot of times, and because you've been in church, you know, there's people that get exposed to scandals and the Christian faith, and sometimes you lose the baby Christians, the ones who are looking up to you. Once they know that you've done something, and everybody sins, but it's like when you living one life, and then, like you said, the other side of your life gets exposed, then it's like, man, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if, man, they messed up. So how can I make it? So when you change your life at that point in time, man, the next year you got with Sopa and you guys started dating, and then the year after that you got married, and then we're going to get into like how things go on social media and stuff like that. But you guys have been able to work together as a team. Guys have been able to open up doors, and if you didn't do that in the beginning, stuff may not be where it is right now. That's what people don't understand. Like, God has a big plan, and I'm preaching to myself because I've had those times where I had to look back and be like, man, why did I not persevere long enough? Because I felt like it was going to be too long. I didn't think God was there for me, so I stopped trusting Him and tried to do it in my own hands. If you could talk about that real quick, about really giving it to God, because before we got on this IG Live, I was praying and I was watching Michael Ty, and they had like a praise worship service. Yeah. And the verse that God gave to me was Proverbs 3, 5, verse 6 and 6. Trust in the Lord in all your ways and lean not into your own understanding. Yeah. And all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Mm-hmm. And we don't tend to do that. So how was that trust? Talk about your trust in God. Once you let that go, even when you let it go with your old relationship before you got sober, I just want you to talk about that part, the trusting in God, because you wouldn't have been able to get any of the other things if you didn't trust in God totally. Yeah.
I think for me, like I said, consistency was really bad. It still is a struggle, but back then, I was like terrible at being consistent. So I had to surround myself again with the community that was going to hold me accountable to remember the things that I promised to myself and what God had for me still. So I could feel lower down, like, man, I don't know if I can do this, or, you know what I'm saying? They can see I'm starting to feel lower, get down about whatever it is I was going through, you know, trying to be consistent with reading or trying to be consistent in the small things that God, you know, entrusted to me. My brothers would pick me up, you know what I'm saying? They'll be like, bro, let's go pray. Or, bro, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? What's on your heart? What's on your mind? I think community is such a big thing for baby Christians, just Christians in general, but especially for people that are, you know, trying to turn a new leaf in the faith. You have to surround yourself with like-minded people. Because I could have said yes to it and then went back home and been doing the same stuff, you know what I'm saying, and been stuck in the same rut. But once you make that decision, it's still on you to say, okay, I got to change my scene. I might have to let a few people go. I might have to stop watching or listen to a certain kind of music. You know what I'm saying? To be able to turn that. So for me, it was all about being around like-minded people, staying in good community, and trying to just put on the big boy pants, bro, honestly. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had to make myself understand that it's going to be tough. God said, you know, He's going to be there for me, but I'm still going to go through some things. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say it was going to be clear skies all the time. It's going to be some rain. You got to see the rain first before you see the sunshine sometimes. So I think for me, community was big, bro. I had to lean on my brothers and sisters to get me through a lot of tough times, for real.
Yo, because speaking of that, my mantra, my motto for this whole show is living for Christ is not a cakewalk, it's a faith walk. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really what it is. Because there's a lot of ups and downs, highs and lows. You know, go through with God. Mm-hmm. But you have to know that He's always going to be there, like you said. And what I wanted to know was, how were things? All right, so we went through your college life, and then we talked about how, you know, you got married the next year. You could just talk about whatever you want to talk about, but how was the first year, you know, being married? Me and my wife just recently got married last August 3rd, and we both played professional basketball. So, you know, we're always with each other all the time. But how was it for you, your first year, if you care to share?
Man, it was a learning curve for sure. When you get married, I feel like, of course, you're on that honeymoon phase. You're like, oh man, I just got married. You know, we're about to have all the fun, and marriage is definitely fun, but it's definitely challenging. You come into a space with somebody you've never lived with, somebody that has habits that, you know what I'm saying, that you might not agree with. And, you know, you got to learn how to give and take. Marriage is such it's made up of two people that can forgive well, bro, and constantly. Right. So it's like, for me, first year marriage was a big learning curve, you know, learning how to communicate with Sopa, learning how she likes to be talked to, how she doesn't like to be talked to, how she likes to be addressed, and, you know, just things she doesn't agree with all the time. And I have habits that I can definitely say that were tolls on her, because she was so much far ahead of me in certain spaces of life. So it's like I was kind of catching on slowly, you know what I'm saying?
All right, so my wife is tuned in too.
Yeah.
And I actually got to get a charger too, so we're on 20%.
Yeah, you and me both. I'm on like 14.
Yeah. I gotta find. But anyway, I will say this, because you just said that she was, you know, ahead in life, ahead and things in life. You didn't even talk about, that's not just being a Christian, you just talking about in life. And I mean, us fellas, we have to, you know, I mean, just give a credit where credit's due to the women, because a lot of times, you know, we may think that our woman, our wife, is just being over the top and extra. And so we have conversations like this, you know what I'm saying, with another guy, whether he's a believer or not. You know, if you have a good woman, you know, a lot of times they're going to, you know, challenge you in different ways. And so my wife is the same, which is the reason why I said that, because I know she watches, she probably smiled. You know, knowing that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, so that's big, and that's key. So, you know, with her being there by your side, you know, God always puts the right person in there to help grow you and help build you. He knew exactly who needed to be in your life for that time and for the things that you had to endure. But man, I want you to discuss your Created for More, because I know there's people on here that follow me that I want them to know about your brand. I mean, the design is dope. I mean, we had the wifey made the poster, and
it's inspiring,
even though it was a double face, yo, that creative part stuck out, and that thing was like that was sick.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I was talking like, yeah, you gotta put that in there.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, talk about your Created for More, where it came from, how did God give it to you, like.
Yeah. Okay. So before we lived here, we lived in Louisville, Kentucky. And I ran a gym for a nonprofit organization called Love City. And it was in a hood area of Louisville. It was called Portland, Kentucky. Like 90% of the people there, I think it's like 80 to 90% are under poverty level, drug infested. So I had youth from like 10 to 18 who I would run the gym for, open it, and, you know, run pickup games, and we do outreach, and, you know, I give like lessons all the time and just mentor them. And I would always tell them, like, you're created for more. Like, a lot of those guys there, they might not have had a dad in a home. It was just a single mom living, or they were just out there in the streets with their friends. So they didn't have people who, you know, really poured into them and really felt they didn't have people who cared for them. So I would always make sure to let them know that they were created for more, regardless of what, you know, their current situation is. I had 12-year-olds carrying guns. I've lost like 2 or 3 kids out there to gun violence.